mute too. Yeah.
Hello. Good morning, good evening, good night. Happy Saturday, wherever you are. We are so excited to be here with you today for our bi-weekly Ask Me Anything with the Operation Childcare Project. Today, we are so excited to make sure that everyone that hears this and that everyone that can share can make sure everyone knows about Kinderspot. Kinderspot is a critical tool in the full suite of options for our military families when it comes to accessing that high quality childcare that we need to ensure our missions can be accomplished. And so in true form, that's why we're bringing this to you today. OCCP is focused as the only nationwide nonprofit supporting military families and leaders who are looking for education and support when accessing childcare, because that's what's needed for a good portion of our folks to be able to get focused on that mission currently and in the future. Specifically with Kinderspot, this is a really amazing tool that's helping fill a very specific mission readiness need faced by our military and our civilian families with children that are currently in the CDC or who want to access the CDC because of the benefits associated with it. Sometimes there's wait lists. Sometimes folks are PCSing. Sometimes folks are deploying or they need emergency care. This is where Kinderspot comes in. This is an incredibly proven platform with multiple years under its belt. And I'm just so happy to be able to share Miss Jackie over here, the founder, and our superstar user over here, Miss Erin. So with that, let me turn it over to you, Jackie.
Awesome. Thanks, Maria. I'm definitely happy to be here and to share the Kinderspot passion project, my baby that's been in the works for 5+ years now. And I think the best way to kind of showcase the needs that it fills is to take you back to the time where I had the idea for what this app could be and the amazing reality that we live in, because now it is in the palm of every user that can access it from their phones. So it was 2017, and I have a 14-month-old daughter. I have one on the way, and I'm tagged to go to squadron officer school. So this is a 6 to 8 week TDY that 100% of captains go in residence. There are many military education classes like this that happen across the ranks where you can expect to TDY for this length of time. And my first thought was, okay, I think I probably should take her with us. My husband's gearing up for a deployment of his own, and I'll have the steady schedule. And I thought this should be easy, because when I did my enrollment paperwork at the CDC, I read about the subleasing policy, what a great tool the Air Force allows families to do to get somebody in to take their spot so you don't lose it as a spot holder. And so you can get reimbursed for the days that are used by another family who can come in on a temporary basis. So I thought this is going to be great. I'll just find someone to take my spot at Wright-Patterson in Ohio. And then I'll also find someone else's spot at Maxwell, my TDY location, because certainly like this system would allow for this. To my disappointment, trying to go through the subleasing process, I just realized there was really no network in place to connect the dots for families across the DAF, across all of these bases around the world, where we have these needs that pop up every day. And so the existing solutions were bulletin boards. There were local Facebook groups. You didn't know who to tap into to find out, how old is your kid? How much do you pay? How do I get enrolled? It was not seamless across the services. And that's where I had my light bulb moment. And I thought there had to be a better way. And then when the opportunity to pitch this in an innovation contest came along, after I had kind of workshopped the idea in my head for the incoming years, I pitched it in the Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center Innovation Rodeo in 2020, and I won the competition. And this was shortly before COVID hit. It was before the pandemic, and I won in February. And through the pandemic, we secured funding for the app. We had a team, a government contractor, and we worked through that entire time. Was actually really great for development. We had focus groups. We asked families, what do you want in an app like this? What kind of functionality can we do to get it right? And it was an iterative process, because it's using the innovation, it's using agility. And so it continues to grow and improve within the fact that it's an app, and that's the nature of an app. And so by 2021, CDCs were starting to open again. We piloted at 9 bases to start, just to see how it was going. And by 2023, the pilot went extremely well, and families wanted this app. And so we got approved for rollout to the entire Department of the Air Force. That's all Air and Space Force bases. And now it's available at 72 bases, 124 CDCs. And it's just been an amazing ride to see the results of this passion project. What Kinderspot does is it provides an easy avenue to find short-term, high-quality childcare because you're in the Air Force, DoD, CDCs, and it helps military families the ability to get some of their money back when it could have been just unused childcare spaces of a total loss. So what it does is it reduces stress, it saves money for families, and it helps with mission readiness. So who can use it? Basically, anybody who is enrolling to get on a wait list into the childcare is going to go to militarychildcare.com. This is the same list of users who can access the Air Force, the DAF CDCs. We have any military service member family who is coming to a DAF CDC can sign up and take spots of those apps. They're eligible. We have Gold Star families. We have DoD civilians and contractors, even military retirees if there's a situation where they need to use the CDC, and other federal agency personnel. So what we're learning is right now our network is continuing to grow rapidly. We're spreading the word. People know what it's about. And we have over 13,500 users. And to date, we've had 14,800 weeks of childcare rented across the DAF, which is a huge win because when you calculate that in savings, I don't have that number at my fingertips, but it is just money back in families' pockets and just an amazing success story.
Jackie, what other use cases have you come across? Just give us a couple.
Yeah, well, I have a coworker. She works in my office, someone that I supervise, and she has little ones in the CDC. She has a pre-tod, very valuable spot. That's a great age range, and there's a big population that wants to get in there. And she's about to go on vacation for 2 weeks. The holidays are coming up. And I said, you really need to put your spot you really need to go to Kinderspot, offer up your care so you can get some money back in your pocket, money that can be used to buying Christmas presents. And so she did that. And right now she's waiting to see who can pick it up, because on the other end of that equation is a family who's sticking around the area for the holidays, who might want to get some errands done, some work done. It's a very busy time, and they can pick up that spot on a short-term childcare basis.
That's perfect.
What about you? Have you heard of other ones, Maria?
Well, I feel like we see it every day in all the different Facebook groups, specifically across the services. And I just love seeing other branches benefit from it, because while right now it's only at our DAF CDCs, there has been quite a few families, and that brand awareness is growing daily across our soldiers, across the Marines, across the Coasties, sailors, everybody who are within that proximity. And what I think sometimes we forget about is that when it comes to our military families, they aren't necessarily living on base in this one or on their post or on their, forgive me, Navy, your locations, your ports. They are all over the country, right? Whether they're doing recruiting duty, whether they're doing an ROTC gig. And so they are mixed throughout. And so being able to know about this resource and access it is just really important for our leaders. When they're helping families navigate a situation, this should be first on their list of, hey, have you considered this while we work on something else? Because it's so easy to get registered and start utilizing it.
Perfect. So let me explain a little bit about the fine print, what this app is all about. Right now, Kinderspot is offering week-long blocks of care. So when you're going into the app, it's a 1 week, that's the policy. If you're an account holder, you have a spot at the CDC. You can temporarily make that week-long spot available by offering up your care in the app. On the flip side, if you're a non-spot holder or you're looking to rent a spot as a spot holder at a different location, you can create an account, view which weeks are available, select it, and wait for your offer of care to be granted. This is a first come, first serve basis. We'll kind of get into that. It's not based on priority. It's based on the need, and who is on the app and who is actively searching is going to be granted the access to the spot. That's why it's so important that you go ahead and register for an account. Let's say you're not a user right now, but you want to down the line. The biggest and most critical step of Kinderspot is becoming an eligible user in the network, which requires visiting your local CDC or the participating CDC you want to get in at and completing the necessary paperwork. And lastly, I want to touch on the cost. So one of the pain points I didn't really talk about in my experience, but has certainly been addressed by Kinderspot and the Air Force, the DAF CDC policy, is that the spot is paid directly to the CDC. It is paid not through the app, not through parents exchanging any types of funds, but it's paid solely through the CDC. The payment is also at the renter's rate. So even if you're a spot holder and you might be of a different total family income bracket than the person renting your spot, going through the CDC and completing your paperwork means that you're paying at your own family's total family income bracket and agnostic of the spot that you're taking.
Yeah, that's a great point. I personally love that, right? Taking out any question of and maximizing the fairness, right? That's where this comes into play, right? So getting registered, being there available, in nights and weekends to see what's available, it's all within your hands.
And it's extremely fair. So here's the process. This is what Kinderspot looks like once you get to the homepage. You can download it in the iOS or Google Play stores, Android, Apple, and your first task is to sign up for the app. You are going to get to become a verified user. That's the part that belongs with the CDC admin staff. So if you have any questions, talk to your CDC front desk or give them a call. They are trained and familiar with Kinderspot, and they can help you get onboarded into the app. This is just the most critical step. So once you're a user in the network, you are greenlit, you have a green verified check, and you're ready to go.
Jackie, we've got some questions popping in. If we can take a quick pause.
Sure.
The first question came in here it is. How is Kinderspot advertised at base level to eligible service members who may be unaware which bases have this feature? You want to take that one?
Right now, I know we have several links that we'll be posting later of articles that have been released at different bases. If you are at a DAF base, I know in many of the FSS facilities, they're cross-marketing. They have materials. If you're at the golf course, they might have like a little trifold sitting on the table. That's how we're doing it locally. Other than that, we're just hoping to spread the word here. We got to talk. Word of mouth has been extremely helpful. Pushing it, if you're familiar with the Kinderspot story, you've probably seen it all over the Facebook groups that we are trying to get the word out on. Have you seen it anywhere else, Maria?
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think it really has been such a grassroots effort, right? From just your initial idea and as it grows. So anyone that hears this, I encourage you to share it. And if you need help with marketing materials, we can work with the team and they can get you some for your location, because I know they have flyers and printables, and we'd love for anyone that's willing to share. And when you're bringing it up, think about like commander's courses and NCO, all those things. It's a great spot to remind everyone, hey, full suite of childcare options. Do you know about them? Because you should if you're a leader, because that's what families really need right now.
We also invited Erin here today to talk about maybe how she found out about it. My kids are now graduated from the CDCs, but I'd love to see, Erin, how did you find out about Kinderspot?
Yeah, I definitely just found out from one of the Facebook groups I was in, which is a great way, but not everyone's on Facebook, obviously. So I see some of the comments mentioning putting it on in and out processing checklists, or even when you register for the CDC from a renter's perspective, someone renting out the spot, maybe saying, hey, this is an option as well. But yeah, just from Facebook.
That's great. I love that. And I think that's something we can definitely take and pass up to leadership teams and considering putting it on their checklists.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions on this one? How can placement and queue become more visible to potential candidates? Why are new CDC user forms not fillable? I think that is more of a CDC management question that I cannot answer.
Yeah, thanks so much. We're taking notes on all of these, and so we'll be following up. You've asked some excellent questions here today, so thanks for being here and participating. And I do see your email there. I don't want to share it publicly, but we will make sure that you connected to the team, that you have all the resources possible to continue sharing. Thanks for being a Kinderspot ambassador.
So now I kind of wanted to just show the spots. Like this is a kind of a little quick tutorial on what the app looks like. If you are the spot holder and you want to offer up your spot, the screen there on the right shows what your rental queue will look like. And there on the left are the steps. the steps are. Erin, can you walk us through how your experience has been in navigating through the app?
Sure. Yeah, it's super easy to use. I just log in and then I go in there and find offer. I say offer spot. Then I'll pick the weeks as soon as I know when I'm going to be either out of town or if I have childcare already set up. If my parents are in town for whatever reason, as soon as I know I don't need the spot, I'll go in there, go to that specific child spot, and then pick the week. And it's a matter of a few clicks of a button, and then it becomes available. And then I've never seen it from the person trying to rent as a rentee's perspective, but I just click it on mine, and then it'll say available. And then as soon as it's rented, it'll say, I think it'll say rented on the app. And then I also get an email. So it makes it super easy to use. And it updates me if a spot gets canceled, it'll update me. And then it'll automatically become available again. So it's a matter of me clicking the buttons, and then it's pretty hands off after that.
And you raised a really good point, because you have several children that are in the CDC, and that's why it's important to put in which age level you're looking for in finding the right classroom, because that was another pain point beforehand. Was there's a lot of science behind getting your kid into the right spot when you're renting and picking up care, and the app is built to protect and provide that information so that it's a plug and play with the children's availability and securing care. And the other point you raised is the notifications. So it's not like you have to be in the app all the time, checking it constantly. It's built in with notifications so that you are alerted right away when activity is happening within the app.
Yeah. She did bring up one other word, and for us, it's that C word, right? Cancellation. So part of real life, and it's been neat for me to see how the app has navigated that, right? So we can understand from a larger perspective that childcare is a limited commodity, and that most places we go today, there are limited spots, right? That's why this is so critical, right? This is a part of the DAF specifically being able to optimize the CDC operations when it comes to maximizing those spots for folks that are currently using it, optimizing their family budgets, and then being able to communicate out, hey, we've got some open spots and we already have the staffing. So, hey, let's get those folks in here and make sure they have the quality care they need to get whatever they need to get done. So when it comes to cancellations, I know, Jackie, you and I have had multiple conversations the past year where it's popped up on social media, because anytime you're talking about children, it can be a really sensitive and hot button topic, right? So sometimes we forget that Jackie is the founder that came up with this idea, and she is a real person and a mom, and deserves kindness and respect, right, for putting this out there and taking the risk for the greater good. And so when this does happen, when there are cancellations, and I know you're going to talk about the details, I just want to encourage everyone to remind that there's multiple people involved in this, and so be really careful and serious about whether you're canceling as the renter or as the spot giver or as the spot renter, because there's families on both sides of it that are going to be impacted. So doing that will help us continue to make sure that Kinderspot is available and has that ability to serve everybody. But sometimes it happens, right? We're in the military. We know better than anybody that life changes at the drop of a hat sometimes. So Jackie, how does that policy work?
That's so well said. Thank you for that, Maria. I think like any marketplace, like any business, and that is what the DAF CDCs are, there is a cancellation policy, and we kind of wanted to go over the fine print. So the business rules as they are right now, if you're a spot holder, you have to have at least 3 business days before the start of the reserved week to cancel it. After that window, it's not actually a function. It's blocked in the app because we get that 3-day period. Cancellations do require an explanation. It's actually submitted in the app. It delivers an email to the CDC admin clerks that work at the front desk so that they can review the explanation and try to track that to see like what kind of cancellation trends are we seeing, and make sure that we have someone reviewing that to keep the equity inside the subleasing policy. And if you're the renter, say you booked at someone's spot, you also have 3 business days before the start of that period to cancel. That really helps try to find somebody else that can take the spot, because now that week becomes available for the next person in line who might want to snag that up right away so that they can take advantage of that need that they need filled. So if you're a renter and you are trying to cancel within that 3-day window, you also have to provide an explanation that's submitted in the app and then emailed to the CDC admin team. And so that way they can better track, of course, the trends, the statistics on cancellation. And that's how it works. Okay, so moving on, what we love about the app, at least what we've heard, and we're going to give Erin a chance to say what she loves about Kinderspot, is that bottom line is that it's saving you money, right? Like if you're going to go on vacation, you're not going to use it for, at least 1 week. Why not advertise that care and get someone else who's eligible to use it in your spot? Just a seamless transition of care. It gives you just one more tool for your toolbox. Like Maria said, it should be on that checklist. It should be something that helps when we're moving, we're PCSing, we have an emergency pop up, or let's just say you want to just take advantage of someone's week that you otherwise would have been, at home juggling the kids while trying to get errands done. It unlocks what we didn't have before, and it just makes it available for anyone who can access the DAF CDCs. So that's anyone across the branches of service. And I hope that if you haven't used it, you're able to use it as soon as you need. So Erin, with that, I'd like to ask you what impact Kinderspot has had on your family, what you love about it. Over to you.
Yeah, I love Kinderspot. It's a great app for our family. We've benefited from it a ton. So we've been using the CDC since 2018. All 5 of my kids have gone through it. And prior to Kinderspot, it was nearly impossible to rent out the spots. I would basically tell the front desk, hey, my spot's available for whatever weeks, and then try to advertise on social media if I could, or just word of mouth, like you mentioned before, spreading the word. But it was almost like all the stars had to align to even get close to getting a rental spot. So it didn't work out for us. And I was not able to rent my spot. And then as soon as Kinderspot became available at our base, I put our weeks on there. And as soon as I started doing that, it was rented. Like probably the majority of the weeks I was able to put on there was rented. And it's literally saved us probably thousands of dollars over the years. And between our 5 kids, it saved us a ton of money. So it's been great. And the other benefit, obviously, is that other families have been able to use it. I know some of the reasons are, it could be a reservist coming in for a week, or someone coming on a TDY that just needs that spot. So I'm sure that's taken a lot of stress off of those families as well. I think one of them was like the FCC provider shut down for the week. So that was like an emergency last minute care request, and they were able to get in and use one of our weeks for that as well. So everybody wins, basically. It's benefited both families, and we've greatly benefited from it. So we love the app.
Erin, you brought up some really great points. I appreciate you being here to share your experience. When would you say you're most often accessing Kinderspot or working on your family's childcare plan during any given week?
Probably, right before going to bed at night, when I can't call a CDC, and when, anytime I have my phone, I can, or if I'm, at the playground with my kids, I can be like, oh, I just realized I need to put my spot on Kinderspot to rent it out, to make it available. As soon as I think about that, which could be any, as a mom, it can be any time during the day. As soon as I remember that, it's as easy as opening up the app. And like I said, just clicking a few buttons and then putting it on there. And then, I'll just, after that, it's hands off. I just wait for the email to see if my spot gets rented. If it doesn't get rented, then I'm able to use it if I need to, but it makes it super easy. And I can go in there and take a look and see what past spots have been rented as well, and kind of go and look at how often I've used it, and kind of plan for the future as well. So yeah, it's really easy, since it's just it's just being able to access my phone.
That's what I've really learned the past 3.5 years and digging into this piece is the more we can meet families exactly where they're at, the better we're going to be for everybody, right? Just like you said, for the children, for the families, for the mission. And so that's exactly it. When we talk to families, we get most of our inquiries in the evening on the weekends, because that's when families can finally take a breath and be like, okay, what's next? And how am I going to get there? And so anything that we're doing to meet families exactly where they're at in the form of an app, because we know everyone has apps for everything now, even for your garage door, Christmas lights, you name it, right? So we might as well just have another one for real things. And in a way that this is just so innovative. And that's why I will just continue to shout this from the rooftops to make sure everybody knows about it. So thank you so much, Erin. If somebody was like hesitant about it, what would you say to them about the app?
I mean, I don't see any negatives. It's been a great experience for us. I think that the ease of use makes it great. And then just being able to get the word out with, anybody who has access to the app can look on there for a spot to rent, or they can rent their own spot. If you haven't tried it, I mean, I recommend just downloading the app and taking a look at kind of going through it and seeing, hey, or try it as like, hey, is a spot available here? Because I've seen other people post on Facebook or social media saying other bases, for instance, and I'll go and look myself to see if it's available at that, which it sounds like it's available at almost all the bases now. To see if it's available.
All Department of the Air Force. Yeah,
okay,
super proud
perfect.
of that.
So, yeah, so that's awesome, because then I can go on and see and even check for myself to see if there's anything available. And then, it just makes it so much easier. I don't even deal with our CDC. Like you were saying, I don't deal with the renters. I don't even deal with the CDC. I only deal with the app for the most part. So I really don't see any negatives that I've experienced through it.
I love that from a business perspective too, because I think, Jackie, what you've seen is this so anything childcare in the military, right? So their entire military childcare enterprise, right? The DoD is the largest employee-sponsored childcare program in the world, and so they are committed to innovative ways. This is just one of them, and as it continues to grow, I think it's going to be even more powerful. And part of that is it's taking the load off the CDC team up front, having to answer the call over and over, right? And families that are in SCIFs or working night shifts, trying to get a hold of them. And so, again, we're optimizing for the staff in many ways. And they still, Jackie, you mentioned, they still have that power and authority within there to make sure it's going to be a right fit for that classroom, right? They know their CDC best. And so I do love that piece of it, especially I know it's come up more recently in a lot of our groups where they're tackling, we've got some more behavior challenges coming up in situations. And so being able for them to have a voice in Kinderspot and actively be participating as a CDC team in making those matches, they still have a voice, right? They're still part of the team making it work for everybody. And so optimizing the resources, making it available, making sure that families can do it on their time when it's most convenient for them, reducing the overhead load on the CDC team to navigate the spots. And then at the end of the day, we are talking about real dollars back in military families' pockets. And so as we continue to see issues with housing and food insecurity, medical, you name it, this is just such a beautiful solution. It's been proven. It's years already in the making, with great lessons learned, high feedback from the customers and from the users. And just, I can't wait to see where it goes next. Jackie, what else you got? More closing thoughts?
Well, my call to action, and of course, answering questions as well, would be if you are on the fence or you're just not sure about Kinderspot, you don't have a full-time spot, but you think that you could have a future need for it, is go ahead and enroll in the app now, download it, do the legwork to become a verified user. That way, when the need presents itself, you are already comfortable. You probably already visited your CDC at that point in the local area, and you are able to go into the app and select those weeks at night whenever you're taking care of your household business, and select it and secure it and be that first one, first come, first serve to get it. So if you're on the fence, give it a try and do the legwork now.
Let me sneak in 2 questions really quick, and then we'll try to sign off at the 30-minute mark. This went so well. You guys are awesome. Okay, quick question is, who funds the app maintenance, software security, and interoperability with the base CDCs?
Well, right now, the Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center are taking care of funding this. They recognize that it is a service that is improving the quality of life for airmen, and it's something decided to invest in. So right now, that bill is being paid because the Air Force is taking care of families through providing this as a service.
Perfect. And then I've got one more. Are Kinderspot business rules, policies published in any DAFI? So Department of the Air Force instruction.
I think we'll have to follow up on that one.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while since I've personally looked at the DAFI. However, I do know that the business rules are all laid out inside the app, and the developers of the app are in constant communication with the policymakers at the services center. So it's a very hand-in-hand process. Kinderspot is the avenue for the app for the functionality, and they house the features that the services center wants within the app. So we'll have to follow up on that one, make sure it's in the Daffy.
Yeah, we got some really great questions and awesome participation today. So that tells me people are interested, and I'm excited to see this be shared more. So hopefully they'll find you if they need you to ask more questions, Jackie. As always, you can we had the link up earlier, reaching out directly to Kinderspot if you have specific questions for you and for your family. And as always, OCCP stands by to support families and leaders in any aspect of the military service to ensure that they have what they need as far as education and support. So you can pop right into our case management. It's a free service for our military families and for our leaders if they're looking for education or if they get hooked up in any sort of a tricky, unique situation. So just always on your team. We never want any military families to feel alone when they're navigating military childcare. Thank you, ladies. This was incredible. We will talk soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.